Currently, Earth.
It was on October 11th in 1915 that Prime Minister Vasil Radoslavov of Bulgaria issues a statement announcing his country's entrance into the First World War on the side of the Central Powers. Secretly courted by both sides in World War I as a potential ally in the tumultuous Balkan region, Bulgaria eventually decided in favor of the Central Powers. In his statement on October 11th in 1916, Radoslavov argued that confronting the Allied powers, Britain, France, and Russia, alongside Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, was desirable not only for economic reasons, as the latter two countries were Bulgarian chief partners in trade, but also as a way for the country to defend itself against the aggression of Serbia, the Russian ally and major power in the Balkans that Radoslavov considered to be his country's greatest foe. Today, we see races that are fighting not indeed for ideals, but solely for their material interests, Radoslavov maintained. The more, therefore, we are bound to a country in a material way, the greater is that country's interest in our maintenance and increase, since thereby that one will profit who helps us and is tied to us by economic bonds. The figures show that our trade, our interests, and our economic life are inseparably linked with Turkey, Germany, and Austria-Hungary. Bulgaria acted quickly after its declaration of war, invading the Serbian province of Macedonia, and in the process driving a wedge in front of Allied forces in Greece in their attempts to aid the Serbian army. In the summer of 1916, Bulgaria invaded and occupied a section of then neutral Greece, mounting a major offensive in August that was only halted by British aerial and naval attacks. A stalemate ensued until 1918, when the Allies began to put more pressure on the Germans on the Western Front, forcing them to transfer a number of troops from the Salonika front, as the battleground of northern Greece and Macedonia were known, where they had been aiding their Bulgarian allies. Disintegrating moral and growing discontent among the Bulgarian troops and on the home front were compounded by a new Allied offensive launched in mid-September. On September 24th, the Bulgarian government authorized its army commander to seek an armistice. Bulgaria formally exited World War I on September 29th in 1918, having lost some 90,000 soldiers over the course of the conflict. was October 11th in 1975. William Jefferson Clinton marries the beautiful Hillary Rodham in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Bill and Hillary met in 1972 while both were studying law at Yale University. Both also worked on George McGovern's 1972 presidential campaign. After marrying, they settled in Arkansas, where Clinton immersed himself in politics and practiced law until he decided to run for governor of the state in 1978. He won and became the youngest man ever to hold the position of governor in any state. In 1992, he ran for the presidency against Republican incumbent George H.W. Bush. He won, becoming at age 46 the youngest president since John F. Kennedy, who took office at age 43. Clinton's two terms, 1991 to 2000, were marred by one political scandal after another. In 1998, he became the first president since Andrew Johnson to be impeached by the House of Representatives. The impeachment trial was the culmination of a slew of scandals involving the president and first lady, which included investigations into allegedly improper Arkansas real estate deals, suspected fundraising violations, claims of sexual harassment, and accusations of cronyism. All this was capped off by Clinton's affair with a White House intern named Monica Lewinsky. The president's attempt to cover up the affair, to which he later admitted, enabled House Republican leaders to begin the impeachment process for perjury and obstruction of justice. A divided House of Representatives impeached Clinton on December 19th in 1998. The issue then passed to the Senate. After a 5-week trial, Clinton was acquitted. Yay! Hillary, both during Clinton's first presidential campaign and during her time in the White House, earned the ire of conservatives for her outspokenness and her involvement in public policy. Refusing to, in her own words, stay home and bake cookies, Hillary devoted much of her time to lobbying for universal health care. When Clinton's affairs surfaced, many expected Hillary to leave him. She did not. Awesome woman. And instead spoke out against what she called a right-wing conspiracy to unseat her husband. As Clinton's tenure in the White House came to an end, Hillary set her sights on her own political career. In 2001, the couple moved to Chappaqua, New York, a suburb of New York City. While Bill Clinton embarked on a new career for consulting for humanitarian and public policy groups, Hillary ran for and won a seat in the United States Senate. In the run-up to the 2008 presidential election, she made a bid for the Democratic nomination but was defeated by Barack Obama. In 2009, President Obama, our nation's 44th president, appointed her Secretary of State. She ran again for president in 2016, but was defeated in the Electoral College by President Donald Trump, our nation's 45th president. The Clintons, one of my favorite American power couples, reminds me of the Nora Roberts book, Sacred Sins and Brazen Virtue, minus the bad ending for the husband. It was October 11th in the year 1975 that Saturday Night Live, a topical comedy sketch show featuring Chevy Chase, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Gilda Radner, Garrett Morris, Jane Curtin, and Lorraine Newman, makes its debut on NBC. The 90-minute program, which from its inception has been broadcast live from Studio AH at Rockefeller Center, includes a different guest host and musical act each week. The opening sketch of each show ends with one or all of the acts saying, "Live from New York, it's Saturday night." Created by the Canadian-born comedy writer Lorne Michaels, SNL has introduced a long list of memorable characters and catchphrases, from Gilda Radner's Roseanne Rosanada to the Coneheads to Billy Crystal's Fernando. There's also Dana Carvey's Church Lady, the bodybuilders that are Hans and Franz, and the coffee talk show host Linda Richman, that have become part of pop culture history. The show, whose cast has changed continually over the years, has also launched the careers of such performers as Bill Murray, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Mike Myers, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, David Spade, John Lovett, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, and Kristen Wiig. Some SNL sketches have been turned into feature films, the two most successful examples being 1980's The Blues Brothers and 1992's Wayne's World. The show was originally known as NBC's Saturday Night because there was another show on ABC called Saturday Night Live with Howard Cosell. However, NBC eventually purchased the naming rights, and since 1977, the edgy comedy program has been called Saturday Night Live. Lorne Michaels served as the show's producer from 1975 to 1980, followed by Gene Doumanian from 1980 to 1981. Dick Ebersol helmed the show from 1981 to 1985. Michaels returned to the program that year and has remained executive producer ever since. The influential comedian George Carlin hosted the debut episode of SNL. Later that year, Candice Bergen became the first woman to assume SNL hosting duties. She went on to host the program 4 more times. In 1982, 7-year-old Drew Barrymore hosted the show, becoming the youngest person to ever do so. SNL is known for its topical parodies and impersonations and for pushing boundaries with its sketches. The show is also recognized for its political humor. Chevy Chase famously portrayed President Gerald Ford as a klutz, while Dana Carvey spoofed President George H.W. Bush and his "read my lips" line. Amy Poehler played Senator Hillary Clinton in numerous skits, including one with the senator herself. Later, Kate McKinnon played her as a presidential candidate. Tina Fey memorably portrayed the 2008 Republican vice presidential nominee, Sarah Palin. Alec Baldwin played President Trump, and several cast members have played President Biden. documented on this audio file can be verified on history.com.